Alright guys, there's some like really loud, it sounds like thunder, but I know it's not, and then I heard some people scream, and I was on the toilet, trying to take a shit, which I failed at, by the way, and like, I keep looking, what the fuck is that, bro? Oh my god, wait, fireworks! Oh, dude, I thought we were under a fucking attack or something. If you're wondering what the talking is, my mom wants me to read a book, and I'm just letting it play in the background so I can get more of it done. You know, I'll figure it out, what's going on and the context and whatnot, because that's what I do. But this video will be titled Life Advice with your host, me. And I am a very young person, so, you know, maybe don't follow my advice. But these are all of my own experience and like whatnot, so it might be actually good. Number one. I was watching this podcast with Camila Cabello because we all know that I like her, and she said there's no such thing as right person, wrong time, because if they're the right person, then they're gonna come into your life at the right time. And I believe that that's true. I never thought about it like that, but you know, it makes sense. Number two, if you find yourself pooping a lot and it is solid, you know, just so much poop, number one, consider taking probiotics. And if it's really out of hand, like, let's say it's a single day and you poop like fucking 8 times and it's all solid, and it just won't stop, take 2 Imodium, and that should temporarily solve all of your issues. But yeah, make sure you're getting a proper amount of fiber in, and this will depend on person to person. So that includes whole grains and vegetables, so make sure you're getting enough of those for your tummy. Yeah, I mean, not only is that stuff healthy for you, but I just eat it because of my stomach. So yeah, that's definitely some life advice there. That was number two, quite literally, because I was talking about poop. Number three, I don't know. If you use pads and you have periods and you don't want people to know that you're like fucking changing it out in the public bathroom or whatever, grab yourself a pair of cargos, right? Unwrap the pad at home and then gently slip it in your pocket. Don't press down too much, because if you press down too much, the adhesive is going to stick together and you're not going to be able to get that open. So, you know, I cannot help you when it comes to the taking off the pad from your underwear part. That part will always be loud. But if you didn't want all the wrapper noise, pre-unwrap your pad. Put it gently in your pocket or like a little bag or whatever. Done. That was a trans tip. Another trans tip, number 4. If you have bottom growth, now if you're trans, you probably know what this means. But if you have bottom growth and it's just fucking so ungodly uncomfortable, um, it's just pinching and pulling, and it's just rubbing up against everything, which is really gross. Especially if you don't know what I'm talking about. But if it is really bothering you, get a sock, fold it over. Can you shut the fuck up? And then slip it into your underwear. Because it's, you see my hands? If this is your bottom growth, then it's directly up against something. It's not going to be able to rub up against anything. It's going to keep it still, right? See that? It's gonna keep it still, and it's not going to. It's not going to bother you as much. So, oh my god, shut up. Anyways, try that. Try that, and that that should help you. Yeah. Number 5. If you're wearing a back brace like I used to do, and it's fucking so hot you think you're going to die, just wear it on top of your shirt. That's what I always did. I mean, I always got funny looks or whatever, especially since I had a rainbow colored back brace. Everybody fucking looked at me. But I just wore it over my shirt because it was so hot. And majority of people who have scoliosis are AFAB, assigned female at birth. So you're probably going to need to wear something like a bra or whatnot. You can wear a binder like I do. And that is so hot. So just wear it over your shirt. Don't bother. The doctor tells you you have to wear this little tank top thing, and then you can put your regular and then put your back brace around it, and then put a regular shirt on top. Brother, I didn't like that either because it made me feel oddly shaped, and no one knew what was going under my shirt, and it made me look fatter. And I was like, what, fucking 90 pounds at the time? So, already self-conscious. So, just do that. And, the doctors recommend you to do 18 hours a day. And I do as well. But if you're really struggling to do it because, I don't know, you have a tummy ache, or you just ate, you're allotted 30 minutes after you eat to, not wear it or whatever. And of course you can't pee or poop in it. And especially if you're an athlete and you exercise, you can't wear it, because you're gonna fucking pass out. So just, it's okay. You don't have to hit 18 hours every day. The doctors told me that most people don't. But I hit 18 hours every day. And it was not fun. Absolutely miserable. Would not recommend. And it did, if you're wondering, it does actually help to straighten your spine a bit more. I decreased like 10 degrees in my curve, so that's good. But yeah, absolutely awful experience. And since it is June, my last piece of life advice will be for all my fucking queers out there. If you are thinking about coming out, and you feel scared, that's perfectly normal, right? Even if you know whoever is going to accept you, um, it's always going to be scary. Um, so you can just come out in whichever way works for you. I gave my mom a note that just said I'm trans, folded it up, and ran away. Um, which is not a bad take, but it's also not a great one. Um, because she wanted to talk to me about it. So, yeah, you have to be willing to talk about it, why you feel that way. You just have to be willing to be open and willing to talk about this new information. And another important thing, please find support, whether that be your. Can you shut up? Oh my fucking god. This fucking guy. Anyways, friends, family, if you got a therapist, whatever, make sure you have a support group. Because I'm telling you now, that is going to come in so much clutch. It is going to make your life so much easier. I can promise you that. I didn't really have that when I first came out, and I think that I definitely would have benefited from having that support. Um, I think it would have made my life a lot easier. So, yeah. And to everyone who's not trans wondering, they're just giving hormones to everybody. No, not really. I had to go through a bunch of therapy and shit to get on hormones. So they're not just, most places, any good doctor will not just say, oh, you're trans? And then just, fucking inject you. They're not gonna do that. It takes a while. And yeah, I do not believe that children should be able to take hormones. I believe the minimum age requirement for most doctors, for all doctors with some special exceptions, is 16, which I feel is appropriate. But I think definitely, if you're wondering if you're trans, the most important thing is that you transition socially first and see if you really do feel that way. And if it just does not change your waiver and you're of age, I mean, just go for it. You'd probably be a lot happier. I know I am. So, no, the doctors are not forcing any kid to be trans, and they are not forcing hormones into their blood or whatever. That's just not happening. And I hate the misinformation that spreads around about my community, about the trans community. I think a lot of it can be very misleading. So be careful where you get your information from, and, remain open-minded. I try to remain as open-minded as possible, because I was raised that way, and being someone who lies outside of the stereotypical uh, whatever, you know, I try to be accepting to everybody. Um, and I find myself being friends with people who don't like each other, or who a lot of people don't like. I try to find the good parts in people. You know, maybe I don't like the majority of them because I find them annoying, but you know, whatever. We have this in common, and that one time we had a conversation, we actually got along, and you weren't annoying, or whatever. You know, so even in people that I generally don't like in school, like kids that just bothered other people and were kind of annoying. I, I tried. I'm, you know, pretty mutual, like pretty neutral with everybody. So I try my best to be. But at the end of the day, if you're a dick, then you're a dick, and there's no redeeming that, is there? Um, but I'd say a lot of the kids at my school are, yeah, they were fine, and probably never gonna see the majority of them again. So I wish them the best. Uh, yeah. And speaking of friendships growing and changing, I guess my last piece of advice that I have learned sort of the hard way is to not force connection. So if somebody no longer wants to be friends with you, or talk to you, or connect with you, whatever their reason may be, um, especially if you guys didn't fight or whatever, it's best not to look into why. It's best not to overthink it. You know, everybody changes and grows, and you know, some friends you'll find that you no longer get along with elementary school friends or whatever, because you guys grow and change and become different people. But if you find yourself in a one-sided connection, whatever that connection may be, it's important to try not to take it personally. Um, I really struggled with that, and I think I still do. Um, I think I still do. But I try not to. If somebody decides to stop talking to you, and you guys didn't really get into any sort of fight, um, please don't try to take it personally, and please don't try to see it as a reflection of, take it as a reflection of yourself, because more than likely it is not you most of the time. um, and you know, don't force connections. If people don't want to be in your life, then they don't want to be in your life. If you grew away from your childhood friends and you guys haven't been friends in years, maybe it's best to just let it go. And you know, in some point in time, if you do become friends again, then you should embrace that. But it's important to not force people to stay in your life, because that's a god awful feeling, that I felt. And you know, connections need to be mutual, and it cannot be one-sided. I think that's really important. So yeah, That's about it. See y'all.